Hi, everyone. Welcome to Menopause Chats. I'm Erin Druska, your host. And today we have a friend of mine, Jennifer, who's going to tell us about her journey. So, Jennifer, hi. Thank you
Hi,
for being here.
thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit. Where are you? I know you're in the sort of more in the perimenopause journey. So,
Well, yeah. And I think that's what's been fascinating about watching the stories that you've been sharing and just kind of how all of a sudden there's all this more information. And you and I were talking a little bit earlier, like if you think you're in peri, you're probably in peri,
right.
whether or not your doctor says anything or
Whether
verifies
your
it or
doctor
whatever.
believes you or
Whether
not.
your doctor believes you're not, or the 8 doctors you see, whether any of them believe you, you're still in peri. So I've always had a very challenging period. I think a lot of people can relate, like curled up in fetal position in the floor, like during high school, like, but it's fine. It's fine. You know, you're fine, even though you're passing out. And even now, when I have my period, people be like, "Are you sick?" No, no, just so a couple years ago, I went to my mother and I was like, please tell me you go through menopause early. Like, please. And she was like, 55. I'm like, okay, if I have to do another 15 years of this nonsense, like someone's going to lose their life and it's probably not going to be me. It's going to be someone close to me. So that should have been my first telling of like, I just want to rip it out. So luckily, we did all the tests, we did all the things. I'm fine, of course. You know, everybody's fine, even though they're having extreme pain. But you're fine, you're fine. It's just a so all of this to come to that I've been having pelvic floor therapy, which has been a huge help and has changed my period. So now that it is changing again in a totally different way, like don't tell me that's not perimenopause. Like when I start bleeding like a teenager on day 11 and I bleed through my pants in the middle of a meeting, like that, don't tell me
Right. Normal.
that's not there. Right. Don't
No.
tell me I'm totally fine. Or
Yeah.
like zits, like I'm 13 again. Like so clearly there's hormones changing. Like that's what I'm like don't sit there and tell me that. Along with hair texture has totally changed in the last year. I don't know what's going on. My hairdresser's like, well, are you pregnant? No, you have to do something to be pregnant. That's not an option. So like so having all these changes, and I've gone in and I haven't really asked for any assistance yet because I'm still trying to get a handle on it, but I'm trying to like just be more honest about it. Trying to be more clear with my family that like, hey, I am feel like I'm losing my mind. It's nothing personal toward you, even though you are annoying me and it is personal right now, but but it really
So it's
isn't,
all
if
your
that makes
fault.
sense. Right. Like it's not you, but it really is you. And I really need you to stop talking right now. Same thing. I think someone mentioned in an earlier talk about just like not even brain fog, just brain stopping, just like, no,
Oh, yeah.
no, we're done. So there's been a lot more of those things that then I'm like, I can't multitask if you could ever multitask before, but I can't hold the information I used to. And it's like, okay, all of these things put together. And then I heard something about like my cholesterol's always been high, and I guess menopause does something with cholesterol too. And I'm like, oh, well, then all of these decks are stacked against me. All of these things, I'm like, okay, maybe like maybe I'm making some transitions, doctor.
Yeah.
Maybe,
I'm like,
maybe
please listen to me.
please but at the same time I think I'm used to not being listened to, so it's like, okay, yep, we're going out on our own, we're
Right. And
figuring
I
it
think
out.
it's hard because it's like we consider them experts, right? And so, if you're going to someone and you consider them to be an expert, but then you're like, you have this moment of like, are you an expert? Like in this? I don't know,
Right,
right? Probably not,
right,
because we know that a lot of doctors don't get
don't
education.
get it at all, right.
But it's frustrating then, or and I think I shared this in a couple episodes too, where like they hear a set of symptoms, right? They're looking for a set of symptoms that fit in the box. Then you're like, nope, it's this other thing instead, right? That was my experience, right? Of all this stuff of like,
Right.
it had nothing to do, like it wasn't even on my radar about perimenopause. And so I was, and my doctors certainly weren't mentioning it. So
I think that's the thing too, like as I know you've mentioned with some other guests, like the kind of narrative we got of menopause is like hormone replacement therapy and hot flashes.
yeah.
Like those are the only two things.
And hormone replacement therapy, bad.
Right. No. Right. That's, and then it's like there's all these other things, and then you just think you're crazy and or getting old and or something's very wrong, or a combination of the three,
Yeah.
when in actuality it is part of that transition, but like you're just made to feel crazy because you go in and you're like, something is wrong. Could we get baseline? Like, just you do want to make sure you're not growing a tumor, or you're not, you
Sure.
don't know with
Right.
some, especially when your brain just stops working. You're like, mid 40s, you're like, wait a minute, something's wrong. Like I have a brain tumor or something. Not really, but I kind of thought that. I'm like, something is very, very wrong. That's not the case.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I,
I've had that same thing where, and we were talking about this a little bit earlier before we started recording, but the idea of the multitasking, right? Like how
right,
I used to, be able to switch between tasks very quickly, very easily, get back to people really quickly, be really on top of things. And I can feel that I'm not that, like things are not firing as quickly as they are. And that's such an interesting space to be in because you're like, okay, I guess I'm slowing down a little bit. And like, it's okay to slow. Like, I should have slowed down anyway. I should not have been operating in that capacity anyhow. So I'm not lamenting that I can't work as fast as I used to. But at the same time, whew, like to notice that and go, huh, but then I get to reflect on it, right? And think like, okay, I'm going to embrace this new, like, I want to do one, like, single tasking. It was at monotasking. I don't know what we want to
the
call
fact that we have to have a
it.
title for doing one thing at a time. Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, it's just this one, can I just do this one thing? Right. And, or, having to ask, I've been listening to a couple guests ago, Michelle had mentioned a book called The Upgrade. And so I've been listening to it. And it was really interesting because she was talking about brain, like this very specific thing, and how, women, you used to be able to use sort of both hemispheres of your brain at the same time, like hold both pieces of information. And now, like, you can't. And so it's like you can only hold a piece of information one time. So, like, if someone asks you to do something, then you either need to do it or write it down, because otherwise you start to think of something else. And it's like this other thing never existed. And so
Right.
you might not even be able to find it later. Like, that's like, it's not like you put it down and you're like, oh, I'll pass it later. It's like, no, you just might not remember. So her hack around that was to ask people, like if someone stopped her in a hallway at work and said, hey, can you get me this report or whatever, she'd be like, can you email me so it's at the top of my inbox, right? Not so can you email me because I'm in menopause, perimenopause, and I won't remember, but like, can you email me so it's at the top of my inbox? And I do the same thing with my clients. I'll be like, well, let me write this down. I have a to-do list app. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
funny, if I reflect back on when I started using it, it was during the pandemic, but it was like, so it was so 5 years ago. So I was probably at that point in
When
perimenopause.
you were
And
right,
that's where, but for me, a lot of it was too, like I was working in the living room. I didn't want to have post-its everywhere, but I used to
right.
have that too. And so I have a to-do list app, and I'm like, oh, let me add this to my to-do list, or it won't happen, or I'll remember at 3 a.m.
Well, at least you remember, because we were talking, like I was sitting with some ladies yesterday, and someone's like, well, would you look that up? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll look it up when I get home. And when we finished the conversation, I was like, let me not be that person that gets out my phone. But at the same time, and then I'm like, okay, I was like, y'all, what was I doing again? And they're like, we have no idea. So all of us
Right.
totally didn't remember. And as I've always had a hard time anyway, auditorially, if someone tells me what to do, like it doesn't translate. And now I could not suffer through it, but I could almost suffer through it. And now it's like, nope, those words just like it does. Like you have to email me, you have to text me. And funnily enough, as part of that, as you mentioned, the just not being able to do that, or to like that I will be interrupted. Like I'm having a harder time. Again, a tendency from when I was younger, but it's even harder now. Like if there's too much stimulation, like I have had to limit my life, so to speak. Like it's kind of crazy, but I've had to do this even prior to perimenopause, so to speak. But maybe, who knows, maybe it was part of the launch into it. And I don't know, a couple of years ago, just even with my periods, I was like, you do not rest enough. Like your body is unhappy all the time, constantly. It was, and being aware of that. But now, like slowing down, like I am very much known. I mean, I was always known as antisocial in the first place, but now it's become even more of a challenge. Not challenge. I'm not offended by it, but at the same time, it's really annoying to keep hearing people be like, "Oh, you're not socializing because you're." Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I could either socialize with you and lose the next week. Like literally, like I can come out and socialize with you even till 10 o'clock, but I will be gone for 3 days. I can't afford to sleep in my bed for 3 days
Yeah.
and sacrifice work and sacrifice all the other things I have to do to keep my life functioning. Because I believe one of your other guests just talked about, like you have to slow down more than you think, way
Yeah.
more than you think, and it's not easy. And I really have put, like a coworker of mine, when she saw my Google Calendar, she's like, "What's that?" And it literally says no from 6 p.m. to 5 to 8 a.m. every single day.
Nice.
I don't do things at night. I don't. And it is very hard and challenging to keep up relationships, particularly with those who, my friends who have kids and they just have totally different schedules. And I'm like, here I am hanging out as an old lady, which I've wanted to be every year since I was 8. So like I'm embracing it totally. And I'm like, I have always wanted to be the lady who eats dinner at 4:30 and goes to bed by 8. Like it's fine for me, but I know that it is a challenge then to be in the world and meet the people I want to meet and talk to and have the relationships and have the friends. So it's just quite the harder to be weird, even though you have no choice. You know what I mean? Like your body's like, we don't care, we're doing it anyway. But not only do you have that challenge, you have the challenge of then trying to not seem like a crazy person.
Yeah.
To just to function in the world, because sometimes you don't want to tell the person you just met that you don't remember their name for the 18th time. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like,
yesterday. I did that. I was like, I don't remember her name. I'm like, is it Becca? She's like, no, it's Melissa. I was like, okay, that is nowhere near the name that I thought you had.
It's not even close. Like you used to at least be close, and now it's just like I'm pulling it from the other somewhere.
I was like, I know several hours ago you told me your name, and I don't remember it already.
Right.
I just embrace it. I'm like, I was never great with names to begin with.
Okay.
I'm really good with faces.
Yeah.
I'm very good with details about people.
Yes.
Not so much. But I will remember things about you. So it's not like I wasn't listening in a conversation. I just don't remember your name.
That's the thing. Like I used to be like, I know your dog. I know what the dog's problems have been. I know your kids, and I know where they went to school and what their interests are. I have no idea about your actual name though. Yeah. But I know all of those. I don't know. And I do wonder, like you're talking about that brain book. Like I wonder if they're going to find in the future, like that there's certain, I don't know. I do wonder, because I've always have been challenged, but now it's just like, it's not even a challenge. It's like, you no longer have that capacity. Yeah. Game over. Yeah. Just game over. I cannot.
I'm going to pretend.
I'm going to pretend. Yeah. I can't even, well, that's the thing. I think I used to be able to pretend and care to pretend, and now I'm just like, absolutely not. Don't even care.
And I think that's, and this comes up a lot, right? The theme comes up a lot in all of these videos around like not caring as much, right? And so like you're just owning the fact
it's
like,
great.
I suck with names.
Yeah, it's great. I truly don't care. I
try to keep remembering, but like,
right.
I'm always been better if I can see the person's name when I'm talking.
Yes. I know we hate the name tags. I also don't want to do a name tag, but like, right. I can't, if there's not a word with it, it doesn't. Yeah.
Coach, when I used to coach runners, they come in in the morning, like for the run. I used to like to check people in because I could see their name and then see their face. And it's like, okay, I got it. Like
that's right. Once you give me that wording, I'm game. But if you're trying to, cocktail parties were always hell.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know any of you. We are not connecting on anything I care about. And you probably don't care about it either, but we have to. So like, we're all in this game. Why are we doing this? Can I just go home and go to bed and read a book? Like it really, like, and I think that's the thing. I would prefer to do that now. Like it's nothing personal. Just please let me go home and go to bed and read a book. Yeah. We'll all be happier.
I had a people a lot yesterday, and I was tired. I was tired.
Yeah.
I mean, I was tired. My legs were tired because I had to stand all day, and I am a seated creature. So I'm not used to standing as I used to, and to carry some stuff here and there. But I left a lot of the heavy lifting to people much younger than me. And because I'm like, I know my limits. I could lift that box, but then maybe I won't be able to go to tap dancing on Monday because now I can't move.
That right, like I might be able to socialize tonight and be okay, or I might now be out and then all my other things. And I just realized, speaking of things, like I have a fan running, which now the recording will sound better from here on out. But like I've been on meetings, but I'm like, again, now I run hot. I don't have hot flashes, but as someone who used to have to go to bed like even in midsummer, like heated blanket, fuzzy socks, full long heavy weighted thing, and now I'm like, I'm dying, but it's not a hot flash. It's just that I'm running hotter, and I'm like, I should have turned that off. So I just I heard it like, that will make the audio sound much better.
Yeah,
no peopling. Like individually, I'm like, this is great, but like I also know how much of a challenge it is to exist when you really are a hardcore introvert, and like in some cases, the introvert, it feels like at perimenopause. Like now I was an introvert who cared and tried to like extrovert as much as possible. Now I'm an introvert who's just like, I can't even be interested in. And I was like, this is what it took. I like, why can't this happen earlier in our lives? Like, why can't the switch flip somewhere in the 30s? That way we don't spend all this time caring about stuff that doesn't matter.
I
Like
know.
biology, what are you doing?
We need to have younger people watching these videos so that they know, like, hey, maybe you could be a choice about caring less at that point.
Yes,
I feel like now it's not a choice. I just don't care.
it true. And I think that's the thing. Like, I think it was like a choice back then. So I would like try, like, let me, and I'm like, oh my God, like all these women used to say, like, I used to make everybody happy. Now I don't care. And I'm like, how do you bottle that? And I'm like, oh, cool. I have it now.
Yeah,
Yes.
that author also talks a little bit about that in the sense of
Yeah.
that it's hormonal that we care, right? Because part of the caring is that, you know, as much as I hate to say it, and I think you and I are in the same boat without kids and things like that, but it's
Yeah.
this, you're physiologically, your body's like, I need to, like, be pleasant so that I could procreate, so that I could,
Yeah.
the world and be seen as valuable, which is subconscious and not, really
You
part of,
don't even know you're doing it. Right.
paraphrasing anything that she said, but was what I took away from it. But then when you get to this age now where like that's off the table, you're like, okay, I don't care then. Like I'm gonna tell you like it is, because this isn't necessary for my safety survival.
That's what I think. It's a safety survival thing. It's like once it's like biologically, again, I wish it would happen sooner because I mean, it's delightful. I love the not care. Like, I'm like, oh, what peace you get with not giving a shit. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Like, again, if it could be bottled and like, I don't even want to sell it. I just want to give it to every woman alive. So, like, the anxiety levels that we all have could go down even just the tiniest bit.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, it's just crazy.
The other
It's,
thing that was
yeah.
interesting too, just like that whole idea of like not caring, is like she was talking about, and this is, I think, in the case she was the examples were actresses, so people who make a
Okay.
living by their looks,
By
right?
doing it
Um,
right, yeah, by
and
being
that like
yeah.
how people get more invisible as they get
Isn't
older.
it great? Sorry.
For me,
Sorry.
I wasn't super
Oh.
visible as a
Yeah, but
woman in the world to
even
begin with.
even though I wasn't visible, I'm even less visible now, and I love every moment of it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
No, it's great.
And I do wonder, and what made me curious was like, oh, I wonder if people who, I didn't have as fall to far,
Right.
as
Yeah.
far to fall.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so because of that, it makes me wonder, like the people who do have, like a bigger transition, how they might handle this transition differently, right? Same thing with like people, if like I was never a tiny person, and so like
Right.
there's so much stuff that's marketed to, women at this age, like, get your high school body back. I'm like, my high school body wasn't that great. Um, so, so it's like I didn't fall far from where I was, right?
Right.
So and again, I do know a lot of people that's been a different story, right? So it's like, and how does that struggle, and I've had friends who've been in those situations where they like struggle because they're like, oh, I used to be really fit and whatever, and now I'm not, post kids, what,
Right.
and again, it wasn't my experience, and so it's like I've always been kind of soft.
Right. And I feel it's funny because there's people like, I want my high school, and I'm like you, I'm like, you cannot pay me enough money ever to ever go backward in time. But I think that's the thing too. Like, I feel like my body is more mine now than it was then. So I'm like, I wouldn't want to go back to being thinner because then that means I'm kind of more visible and more. I'm like, no, I'm not available. Like, give me another 20 pounds. Like, please, how much more invisible, which isn't healthy in and of its own right. I got a cholesterol problem. Like, even though I got my blood work back the other day and she was like, healthy lifestyle choices. I'm like, I'm out of healthy lifestyle choices. I'm eating oatmeal. I'm eating seeds. I'm eating fruits and vegetables. I'm not really eating any red meat. I'm not having any sugar. I can't cut out any more stress. Like, I don't see people after, like, I work and I go to sleep and I'm like, we're out of healthy lifestyle choices, honey. Like, we've been doing this 10 years. And so now I'm going to get something to just see how, if my arteries are blocked or not, if we got to put myself on a
Oh
statin.
yeah,
My
you're
father had a
gonna,
heart attack. Father had a heart attack at 50 with a 99% blockage. That's
yeah,
only 7 years away.
yeah,
My mother is now also on statins. So it's like, might have the deck stacked against me,
yeah.
but it's more like, anyway, so I say that I don't need another 20 pounds, but now that I'm like, oh my God, I'm like 43 and I'm looking at this and we got to look for something else. And I'm like, are we sure this is a medical thing? Are we sure this just isn't peri? It's hard to know.
Yeah.
And it's hard to decide, like, do we go down this route? when we may or may not
Statin
find
route.
anything.
It's like, do I want to go
Right.
statin? I don't know because I got to be on this for the rest of my life. Like I've had that conversation with the
Right.
doctor because I did have the calcium scoring
Did
done.
you? Okay.
A
I think
little
that's
bit of
my what's
blockage, but not a
next.
lot,
Okay.
and it's only one artery. So it's like, okay,
Okay.
chances of me having a heart attack in the next 10 years is really
Well,
small. The side effects of the statin are
that's
greater than my
that's why I don't want to
heart.
go on it necessarily. But if I do, if the deck is stacked again, granted, I was not my father who sat down with an Entenmann's coffee cake every Sunday in the evening and ate it. You know what I mean? Like I have tried very hard over my life, but at the same time, I'm like, if the deck is already stacked against me and all the hemp seeds and flax seeds in the world will not solve this, if I have to get on a statin, can we do it now and at the lowest? Like, can
Yeah.
we maybe
Yeah.
do
And
the
they
most
can. They can put you on
minimal?
like the lowest possible, see how you
Right.
act.
Right. So I'm like, I gotta weigh. But again, when I was listening to somebody like cholesterol with perimenopause, and I was like, oh, okay. Unlike the other changes in my body, like nipples moving and all these other crazy things, like they're just growing big. I'm like, why are they like they take up like I'm like so awkward? But I know I'm like, there's no other thing it could be besides just hormones. Like those are the things where I'm like, okay, hormones. Like this is peri. There's no other change. There's no disease that makes it larger and hang like so it's got to be peri that like so it's just those weird things. I was going for hand physical therapy and we were just the lady and I were talking. She was like, they don't warn you of these things. They don't warn you that the grays aren't just on the top of your head. They don't warn you
I
about.
remember that from Sex in the City.
Okay, I didn't watch
There,
that,
yeah,
so
there was an
okay.
episode and Samantha, because Samantha was always the older
Yeah.
one, and there was
Yeah.
an episode where she found a gray pubic hair and flipped out. So
Yeah.
I at least knew that in my 20s that was a
See, I didn't watch that.
thing.
So that was a conversation with me in the waiting room lady a couple months ago at the physical therapist. But like those things, and I think that's the thing too. We're all more willing to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like when I literally said to my mother, like, "How was menopause?" and she was like, "Fine." And I'm like, but at the same time, when I had my first period and I had periods and I was in so much pain, she's like, "I don't understand. I didn't have a problem with it." And now looking back, I'm like, did you really not have a problem with it? Or was it just that y'all had to suck it up and deal with it anyway, just because? Like, I do wonder. And, she's distance does cloud over and makes it everything not seem as bad. But when she's like, oh, yeah, menopause, like, not a problem. And I'm like, well, if my periods were awful and yours were fine, and you're saying menopause is great, and I'm like, that again, I'm like, Mom, I don't think it's going to be okay. But, but so it's
the thing I've noticed too is like how much my skin's already thinning. Like
yes,
particularly on my hands, like I have two cuts on my knuckles right now because I scraped it on something, and before I used to be like scrape my hands and nothing would happen, and now it's like, oh, I'm bleeding.
yeah, and it stays around for a while now, and it doesn't you don't heal as well, and it's like, is that age? Is that? But I imagine it is also part of
Yeah.
hormonals of like back then. Let's fix it so you look pretty so you can procreate. I mean, I'm assuming that's how the biology works. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't think we know. To be honest, my guess is probably as good as anybody else's.
Yeah. My favorite lately is the random cheek hair.
Oh, I've
I will just
always had
literally
it.
be
It
like,
just like
oh.
pops right here. Yeah.
And it's like it's not there one day, and the next day it's like
It's like long. Yeah. It doesn't. I mean, I've always had some coming out of here, and then like I definitely have to do that. I've always had to do this because of just how pale and how dark I am.
Yeah.
All my hair is dark, so it doesn't really have a choice. But yeah, like they'll be here and here and here. It just and again, all of these things it's got to be hormonal. Like they're not problems. There's not a growth. It's just true.
Especially if you hadn't had it before, right? Like I never had
Correct.
any sort of. I mean, I always
Right.
had, like
Yeah. Well, everybody has the
and I
fuzz.
have
Yeah.
I'm pale and my hair's pale, so like I don't even know if I have arm hair. Like
Oh no, I got a downy coat here. I haven't done anything
I
with
don't
that.
shave my legs because I don't really get any hair on them.
That's amazing.
I get like again one long hair and like that's it.
Oh no.
Um, but yeah, like I'll just notice I'm just like so I know like that's a new thing. It's not a I
Right.
had this thing, right?
Right. I mean, and you can tell, like all of a sudden, it's so weird how you can tell, like all of a sudden you've decided to touch your face for no reason and you can feel that one weird hair and you're like, I must go get rid of that now. I
Right.
mean, I started this probably like 30s, and this was always, I mean, I got made fun of this in school. And my leg hair is the color of this, so it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
So but again, those are the things like within your body where you're like, no, that is not a problem. That is truly just a hormonal shift and change. And
Yeah.
again, just there's a good pair of tweezers and a great mirror, and you
Yeah.
just
Well,
pull
yeah.
it.
Trimmer.
And then it pops. Oh yeah. Oh, I have to do this regularly. I have to do this every couple of days just
And mine's
because.
not dark, but it's still like I notice it, so I get rid of it.
Well, and I know, well, right. And I know, particularly working in person, like
Yeah.
we would like to pretend that we are a society that doesn't care.
Right.
We are not.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, I'd love to not have to trim it. I'd love to just be, but I'm like, I am aware that there will
Yeah.
be, I might be middle aged, but people are still like children when it comes to that.
It's
So,
true. Yeah, it is kind of that's interesting too. Like, yeah, that whole and maybe that will shift someday. I don't know.
maybe, probably not in our lifetime, but yeah, I do. But that, and again, that's what I think of like my like mother's generation, and she's like, well, menopause was fine. I'm like, was it really?
Right.
Or like, and I think too, as I'm listening to a lot, I mentioned we both don't have children, but it's like when Perry is for most people, they're like in the middle of children, in the middle of parents, in the middle of a ton of other things. So it's like, well, the world's just a disaster. So who knows if it's Perry or not? Where I
Right.
think without having that kind of thing to sidetrack me, I'm like, okay, it's not actually the kids drive me crazy. I know kids drive me crazy. It's not being sandwiched between the two generations. It's not the logistics of everybody's practice and doctor's appointment. It's just me and my partner and our parents, but like they are gratefully right now in fair health and we're not stressed or moving anybody or, dealing with any serious things. So it's like, no, this is not stress related. Like this is a hormone. This is a hormone fluctuation. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like you're not crazy, and two, you're probably right. Just the medical establishment hasn't figured it out yet. I mean, they couldn't figure it out for my cramps for 20 some years. Nobody could help me. Everybody just said, suck it up and deal.
Yeah.
So I think that's like we said, we're just so used to that being the case with
Yeah.
our health
I'm like, all right.
of, I mean, I think of when you told the story about trying to get your hormone cream and just how the jump again, their solution for me is birth control. And I'm like,
It's
no,
always the first place they go.
why? Like for anything.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like the new Tylenol Advil
Yeah.
is like birth control. And I'm like, why? I
Yeah.
already told you multiple times. Like you said, I literally wrote, don't ever want to be on it again. None of them ever made me feel good. I felt awful, which definitely helps with the birth control. It means that doesn't ever happen.
Right.
But like, I'm like, why? Why would I want to feel awful?
Yeah.
Just
Maybe
no.
my last, like my IUD needs to come out next year. And
Okay.
so, my doctor's like, do you want to be on another one? And I'm like, why? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'll need to be on progesterone because I don't need to be on progesterone
Okay.
because I have the IUD, but it's like,
Right.
yeah, I don't know. But then I said to her, I was like, do I need to, like, the conversation we had was like, should I start a low dose of progesterone before I get the IUD
So
out?
you're,
So it's
yeah.
not like a, you know,
Yeah.
and
No.
she's like, yeah, that's probably smart. And so, it's like, okay, and let's figure that out together, right?
Right.
And
Because
I'm
you have
sure
a
she would have
year.
realized that it's literally just like a preliminary conversation.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah,
Right.
that's a good idea. And I really like my doctor because we have that one, she's a specialist in this area,
Yes.
and
Yes.
also, someone who can, who I feel is a partner with me in my health, not a like, yes, she's
Right.
also an authority, but like I
Right.
feel like it's a conversation about my health, even with the statins, it was like that. It's like, well, let's talk about your risks and let's, and obviously it's your decision. But then I know other people who are doctors and stuff, and they were like, yeah, like everybody has an opinion about the statins, and
Right.
if you're a cardiologist, you're going to have one opinion versus if you're not a
Right.
cardiologist, and so
Right. I mean, that's the good thing about my current doctor. Like, she truly, everything I complained about before was not her.
yeah,
Like, she truly has been like, because I remember I literally went here, I was like, if I have to have a period for another 15 years, like, I'm out. I am out. I'm like, what do we got to do? Do you need to take it out? Like, for real. What? Like, I was like, I cannot do this another 15 years, 12 times. Like, and so luckily there's been some relief there, and she's like, let's not do statin, healthy lifestyle choices. So part of that was just me panicking of like, I don't want to let it get worse. So she's been very good, but I mean, took me 20 some years to find a doctor that got that. And again, but she's like, okay, I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. So then the onus is sort of on you, and she's like, I'm game, but then it's like, well, I don't know, there's all this conflicting information out there, and then I feel like I'm overdoing because women in my family were fine and didn't have any problems. So what's wrong with me that I've had problems for all these years. And anyway,
And I
so it's
also
just,
feel like our environments were a little bit different, like so there's just things that are in our foods that weren't in foods before,
and
and
then
things that are in
chemicals
the environment
everywhere.
that are in
And
the
yeah,
environment. And it's like, it's kind of interesting to me when you see it's like, oh, groups of populations having an incidence of certain cancers or something. It's like,
yeah.
when you find out it's like, well, yeah, their water was not great when they were growing up, in the area they were in, or
Right. Or like, so I know that Southern California, I just read something about just air quality in some certain places where literally they have to go indoors and block stuff, or maybe that was a while ago. I don't know. So all these things I'm reading are blending together. But yeah, I do wonder with some of this. And again, we are luckily much more able to talk about this stuff versus probably my mother, or my mother would. I mean, the fact that I'm probably sharing this would horrify her to no end. So, but that's the only way that we all know we're not crazy, is because then all of a sudden when another woman says, hey, I have this weird thing, and then you're like, oh no, it's totally part of being a woman, and we just haven't ever known what that meant because we
welcome.
just had a textbook, right? We just had this textbook, here's 3 pages, this is what's going to happen. Whereas not understanding the whole understanding of that it is full body.
And if
If
you
there is
got treatment
hair,
in your textbook, good for you.
good for you. If you had a book, good for you. Mine was all videos and stuff, and they don't go over the hormonal. Particularly, I just had such high, and I still do, high highs and low lows within my cycle. And again, what was wrong with me? Why are you not okay? Why are you? And it's like, okay, now with Perry, they're coming back a little more. I had kind of settled out, and now they're again, like, I'm in the middle of a meeting and I get up and it's day 10 and I'm full blown day one. I'm like, oh, cool, this is fun.
Well,
And then it disappears the next day.
yeah, and they say like the hormone changes similar to like when you were in puberty. If
Yeah.
again, not we weren't pregnant, but like if you were pregnant,
Right.
and then like these are like the big times your hormones,
Right.
fluctuate. So it's like puberty,
Yeah.
pregnancy, and then
Yeah.
perimenopause. It's like,
So, like, I literally feel like I'm 13 again because I've destroyed every sheet set I now own. And there's no point in buying any until it's over, because it really feels like, okay, here's all the clothes you wear anywhere between day 20 and day 6, which again
you're
can
like
be
only black clothing.
forever. Like, I literally have bought black clothing now, and I wear more black and more dark colors because I'm like, I cannot afford to keep. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, literally, when I the one I was like, oh, I'm good, I got it. I'm laying on the towel. I have the towel under me, and I'm wearing the sweatpants at night with the big pad, and I'm like, I'll be cool. It'll be fine. I change it right before bed. I'm like, I got it. And then I wake up, and it doesn't matter. Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
this is
it's so
ridiculous.
normal. Like, there's a woman that I follow that she was saying like she was like on a plane and that happened,
Yeah.
and she had to like take, like she was washing her pants at the airport in the laundry,
Yep.
in not the laundry, in
Yep.
the bathroom,
Yep.
in the sink.
Yep.
She's
Yep.
like,
Yep.
great.
Yep. And then usually, like, I mean, I was so excited I didn't have to carry stuff all the time. Now it's like, nope, now I have all the big pads, now I have changes of underwear everywhere. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is, again, I feel like
You're
I'm
carrying a
13 again.
backpack full of like, sanitary
Yeah.
products, right?
Yeah. Like, I feel like I'm 13 again. I remember, like, even probably this couple years ago, like, I always have my period on Christmas. I don't know why. And his mother has white fabric covered chairs, and it's always like day one, and I'm always trying so hard. I'm like, okay, change the pad right before, because I don't move. Like, I'm literally sitting there like a statue. I have no energy to move.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know how it leaks
Like,
within an
I
hour.
don't want to decorate your.
And then, like, luckily I got up and he caught it quickly and he saw it and he didn't tell his mother. Like, he was able to get it out, but it was like, what, like, again, I feel like I'm in middle school, like,
And then
tying the
tie a
thing
sweater
around.
around
Yeah.
your waist, right?
Like, I'm 43. Like, this is
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. And I think that's the, like, yeah, I truly feel like I'm a teenager again. But the best part is I don't feel like I have to make people happy. So, like, that's the trade-off. Like, you're in
You've
middle
got
school,
the teenager like hormone stuff happening,
right?
but the midlife don't give a crap.
Don't care about anything. It's just, and that's the thing. Like, I don't care that, like, literally it happened when I was on campus. So I'm like walking through campus, totally, like, I had no other choice. And I'm like, whatever. So that was the positive thing. I really don't care, whatever. But still, it was just messy. And then you got to get home, you got to soak it, you got to hope it comes out. And anyway, all
Yeah,
the
I feel lucky because I used to have really heavy periods.
yeah.
And then when I got on the pill, it was fine. I had to come off the pill, some bad headaches. And so between that, they came back. And then when I went on the IUD, then, it's been fine. So I'm grateful for that because I've had three of them, and
Yeah.
it just took me right into the sunset. So
And that's, I think it almost feels like it's coming back with vengeance. Like I was on birth control for such a long time. I was on the patch probably most successfully,
yeah.
but I still was in pain with those periods. And then I got off. It was, again, came back with a vengeance, and then it like settled, and I'm like, cool, 26
Now
to
it's like
29. And it was, and again, with the pelvic floor therapy, like it wasn't, I didn't feel like someone was hitting me in the stomach with a baseball bat regularly. Like an Advil or two was fine. And now it's like, oh, by the way, game over. We're
for
back.
years, I'm back to normal, but for years, like in high school and stuff, my cramps would be so bad I'd have to take like 800 milligrams.
Yes, that was my basic, was
Yeah,
800.
and that destroyed
Yeah.
my stomach after a while, or at least it did for me.
Which now I'm finding much digestive problems. I don't know if it's peri or if it's because I literally had to pop Advil for multiple days
Yeah,
on
I
end.
mean, I haven't done that in,
Okay.
decades, and so I do feel like it's reversed itself. But I did for the longest, like mostly through college and grad school, which is also then, but like then it's a stressful time, and like so.
Right. How do you know what it, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's, I'm finding myself, like I still have some of the horse pills. They would start prescribing them
They're
for
big.
me just
They're
in a
big.
big bout.
Horse
Yeah, they're
pills,
horse pills. That's
doctors.
what they,
Yeah.
but yeah, but now it's, and it's like not even the pain, it's just the mess. I'm like, I don't remember this thing, this mess. Why do I have, because the worst thing is to wake up at 3 a.m. and realize that there's blood all over your sheets, and you're like, all I want to do is go to bed,
Right.
go to sleep, and now I have to change the
And you're
sheets and
like,
I have
I
to
don't want to lay in
soak.
it. I don't want to go
I
back
don't
to
want to lay in it.
sleep.
Right. You're like, I don't, I have a lot of don't give a crap. That is something I do actually give a
Right.
crap about. So it's like, oh, now I gotta do sheets, and I gotta change it, I gotta soak it because otherwise it's never gonna come out.
Yeah.
Again, not a major thing in the grand scheme of things, but again, it's just been so, I just feel like a teenager. There's literally
Like,
pads
and
in
how
every
many
bag I
sets of
have.
sheets do I need to own so I can swap them out?
Right. And so now, and I literally, I had two and they were perfect. I'm like, this is great. Like, well, three or four, I think two a season. And I was like, this is great. This is perfect. I changed them. And now I'm like, okay, they both literally, where I lay on the bed, where my butt is on the bed, because that's where the stain that I can't get out is.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
anyway,
Yeah, I mean, but it is a thing, like,
yeah,
and people need to know, like, hey,
yeah, it does
it
happen.
may
And
not be your experience, and it might be your experience. So
right, it might be, but yeah, I
it
mean, but
is good
mine's
to know
always
that you're
been.
not alone, right?
Right, right. That's, and that's what I think has been so great about just listening to all of these with such different
Yeah.
perspectives, is like, oh, well, now I can, that's like the cholesterol and the hair falling out. And then someone was like, the rage. I'm like, yeah, I've had that rage moment where you better get out of my way or I will destroy you. And I don't care how much I love you. Like, it's been very, again, don't feel as crazy. You're like, oh, that's what actually peri and menopause is like. It's not this hot flashes and don't take hormones,
Right.
which is all I knew prior. So
Yeah, right. I mean, same. And that's why
yeah,
I got down the rabbit hole when they're like, you're postmenopausal. I'm like, excuse me?
right, right, right. You're like, wouldn't I have known? Okay.
Apparently not. So apparently all those little things were all things you
We're
should
all
know.
things that you should, right, but you don't know until after, unless you've heard, right?
Right. So hence,
So,
hence menopause.
yay for menopause chats.
Before we
Wonderful.
close out, anything else?
Yeah.
Any parting wisdom?
Any parting wisdom? I guess what I would say is if you are before menopause or perimenopause, just know your body and your cycle, because then you will know if stuff changes. I mean, I spent so many years fighting my period because it was just made me so miserable. And then maybe 5-6 years ago, right before perimenopause, of course, started charting my cycle and noticing the dips and when I felt good and when I felt bad. And that alone has saved me coming into this, because now I'm like, oh, that's a change. That's not he's annoying me, my mother's stressing me out, work stressing me out. That's an actual change. So I still do chart every day. How am I feeling? What's it like? How's it going? That has helped me know. And I feel like that having that type of, if you are still cycling and somewhat regularly and can pay attention to that, that will help you know whether it's just like, oh crap, it's a bigger medical problem, or oh, it's a hormonal shift. It'll keep you from kind of spinning out.
And I love that you said that because it's also related to like now I can see a pattern, right? It's like, oh, that's
Yes.
irritated because, and then you can go back and look and be like, oh, yeah, Yep.
Which is what I'm like literally they look exactly. And it's so funny. My mother finally said the other day, she was like, yeah, she was like, I remember. She goes, I would always be perimenopause. I'm not pre. Oh my gosh, we're talking about menopause and I can't think of it. PMS
Yeah.
right before Christmas. She was like, and I hated everybody. I loved you, but I hated you. And I'm like, oh, my mother, like, not that my mother didn't have feelings, but it was
Right.
nice to kind of hear that she also was like miserable and hated the world right before her period, because I had never noticed it. She was, so it's like, oh yeah, okay. Like, it's normal. It's day 28. I want to kill him. Okay, my period's coming soon. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
But yeah, it at least helps you go, okay, it's not me. It is like something I can't control, right?
You
But
truly can't
I can
control.
be aware
Right.
of it and then go, okay, sort of ease into the fact of like, oh, all right, this is just how it is right now for the next 2 days or whatever. And
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, because otherwise you're like, I used to make myself wrong, like, fix this, fix this. It's like, no, you're not going to fix it. So just accept the fact that the world is awful. Well, I mean, in general, but like for a couple days, and
it's
then it
not.
will be better. It will be better. What is the thing? The only thing that you can rely on is things changing or something. Like, it will change, but then you can see those moods, and then that's how I've noticed it's got to be Perry, because
Yeah.
some of them are getting very, very weird, and I'm like powering through. Like, PMS is like great now, and like the things that I used to like hate, I'm now like, it's very, very different. So I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, this is
I
what's
think
happening.
that in the book, The Upgrade, she talks about that too. Like her husband was actually tracking, made an Excel
Ah,
spreadsheet because he's more
interesting.
analytical and he
Right,
would
right, right.
and she would complain about like a relationship, like a friendship or like something
Yes, at a
upset
certain
her.
time.
And then
Yeah,
he would be like, he'd look and he'd be like, are you sure that that's actually happening? And she said at first she was kind of mad at him, kind of like,
I would be
how
too, though,
dare you?
personally.
She's
Yeah.
like, but then she's like, oh, I actually appreciate that he's like super analytical and like helped me see that like there was this pattern here. So,
Right. That it's like you're going to complain about the same thing every month.
yeah, at this time. Yeah.
At this time, in 3 days, it will not even matter. You'll be asked about it, and you'll be like, what are you talking about? Who cares? But I
Right.
think that's the thing, because I think we can get so in our heads and think, oh God, there's something wrong with me. We don't feel good. We don't whatever. But the answer is you just have to roll with it. And
Yeah.
but once you know it, it's easier to roll with it. Once you know, you're like, oh, I'm just, and then you can go to bed early. I don't
Right.
know. I'm like, oh, excuse. I don't feel good. I'm going to bed early. Bye. See you in the morning. Maybe it'll be a better morning. Maybe not. If not, I'll go to bed early again. So, thank you,
Same
Aaron.
for you. Go to bed.
Right.
No people, go to bed.
No, that is the solution. No people, go to bed. That really does solve most problems when you think about it. So,
Well, I really appreciate you being on
thank you for having
and
me.
sharing your story and everything that's going on for you. So thank you for watching. If you'd like to be a guest, please feel free to reach out. I'd love to have you. Otherwise, thank you for listening, watching, and we will see you again next time. Thank you.